Hi guys, my name is Ashley Ricker, and today I am going to be going over ratios. The objective of the lesson today is to be able to correctly identify the parts of a ratio, as well as to understand how to form one correctly, and to understand where the parts go, why they go there, because there is a difference in the parts of a ratio. So first, we're going to start off with what is a ratio. Some of you may have never heard this word before. Some of you may have heard that a ratio is just a fraction, and in a way it is kind of like a fraction. The difference being that the parts matter and what parts go where matter. It's a little different than an actual fraction. The true definition of a ratio would be a relationship between two numbers. A ratio indicates how many times the first number is contained within the second number. So we're going to look at the different ways to write a ratio. There are three ways that I have seen a ratio written. The first would be to use the colon, which would be read as 3:1. The second is to simply write out the word 2. So instead of putting the colon, you would write 2. The first two are basically the same thing. Using the colon is another way to say 2, or a shorter way if you don't feel like writing it out. I know it's only 2 letters, but... And then the third is to write it as if it was a fraction. With writing it as a fraction, you have to be careful because you're not writing it as a typical fraction. You would most likely be using mixed numbers. So yeah. There are two different ways to talk about ratios. The first would be part to part. A part-to-part ratio just compares two numbers to each other. There's no third party in there. So we have an example of a recipe for pancakes uses 3 cups of flour and 2 cups of milk. So the ratio for that would be 3:2 because we're comparing flour to milk. And as it says in the slide before, you use 3 cups of flour and 2 cups of milk. If the scenario were to be the ratio of milk to flour, you would simply just flip the numbers and it would be 2:3. We have the next part, which is part to whole for ratios. Part to whole compares one of the numbers to a whole group of numbers. The example we have given would be there are 5 puppies. 2 of the puppies are boys and 3 of the puppies are girls. So for the first example, we are going to be looking at the ratio of boys to the puppies. And as we know, you're going to be putting the number over 5, or you're going to be writing the second part of the ratio with 5 because that's the whole number of puppies that we have. And because, going back to the last screen, there are 2 boy puppies, we are going to be writing 2:5 or 2 over 5 if you want to write it as a fraction. It's really your preference as to how you write it. It's just whatever you prefer. There's no correct way to write a ratio as long as the numbers are in the right places. Next, we're going to be looking at the number of girls to the whole. And because we know we have 5 puppies and we know that 2 of them are the boys, then we have left 3 puppies, which we know are going to be girls. And it's going to be 3:5, or 3 out of 5, again, however you prefer to write it. So we're going to be looking at some examples now. And I want you guys to pause the video to figure them out. I'm just going to read them for you right now, though. We have some fruit pictured above. I want you guys to tell me the ratio of oranges to strawberries, the ratio of strawberries to oranges, the ratio of oranges to total fruit, and the ratio of strawberries to total fruit. So go ahead and pause the video and try and figure out the answers, and when you come back, I'll have the answers for you. So for the ratio of oranges to strawberries, we have 3 to 4, because if we go back, we count them 1, 2, 3, 4 strawberries, and 1, 2, 3 oranges. So 3 to 4 would be oranges to strawberries. For strawberries to oranges, we are going to just reverse the numbers, and it's going to be 4 to 3. For the ratio of oranges to total fruit, we know that 4 plus 3 is 7, so 7 is going to be our second number. And because we have 3 oranges, 3 is going to be the first number, so it's going to be 3 to 7. For the ratio of strawberries to total fruit, we know that, again, the total fruit is 7. And because there was 4 strawberries, it's going to be 4 to 7. I have another practice for you guys. So we have 4 questions. First one being, what is the ratio of white stripes to red stripes? The second question is, what is the ratio of red stripes to white stars? The third question is, what is the ratio of red stripes to all of the stripes? And the fourth question is, what is the ratio of white stripes to all stripes? So go ahead and pause the video and take a look at the questions, try and figure them out. So for the ratio of white stripes to red stripes, it is going to be 6 to 7, because if we go back and count the red stripes and the white stripes, you're going to notice that there are 6 white stripes and 7 red stripes. For the ratio of red stripes to white stars, it is going to be 7 to 50, because if we go back and look at the number of stars, there are 50. And then we're just using the red stripes from the answer before, we know that there's 7. Now, the ratio of red stripes to all stripes is going to be 7 to 13, because if we count all of the stripes together, we know that they equal 13, or you could just simply add 6 and 7 together, another way of getting 13. So the ratio of white stripes to all stripes is going to be 6 to 13, because we know that the 13 is the total number of stripes, and then there are 6 white stripes. Now, as you can see in this answer, I did write a little variation of them. I did put the number, or the word 2 in there as well, just to show you the differences. So for tomorrow in class, I'm going to be passing out bingo cards with different ratios on them. I'm going to read you guys a scenario or a word problem, and you're going to have 2 minutes or 120 seconds to figure out the ratio before we move on. And then at the end of the class, I am going to ask for questions, some feedback. So make sure if you guys have any questions, you write them down. The specifics I want to know are if you understand ratios, if you're clear on how to construct them, and if the activity was fun and engaging. I looked forward to seeing you guys tomorrow and to hearing about your feedback. Thank you guys.